Hey guys, I hope you all had a fantastic new year and welcome to 2024. And I wanted to start this year off with this video. I found this file on flightsim.to. This is going to be another freeware file. I've gotten a lot of new stuff, bought some stuff during the sale. I'm not really sure I want to do videos on it or not. So right now I'm going to just kind of stick to some of the freeware, because some of the freeware is just phenomenal. But anyways, here we are in Pyote, Texas, and we are looking at what is left of Pyote Air Force Base, otherwise known as Rattlesnake Bomber Base. This particular base operated from 1942 to 1954. It was mainly a training base for the B-17 bomber and ultimately the B-29 bomber. Now, what I wanted to show you first was the abandoned airport. This is as it appears right now in Flight Simulator, without any extra scenery. So we're looking at what is left of this base, and we'll talk a little bit more about the history of this base also. But I was poking around on flightsim.to and I found a file that brings this base back to life. Now, to see the base as it is here, if you can find an airport close to Pyote, Texas, you can fly around until you find it. Otherwise, I'm going to post the geo coordinates down below at the corner of the screen so you can go take a look at it before you download the file at flightsim.to that will transform this whole thing back into an operating Air Force base. So let's just kind of take a look at what we have here. So there is quite a bit to see here still. And when the base shut down, it actually became an air defense station. And then was ultimately shut down by the Air Force, I believe, in 1963. So, interesting history. That would be a really interesting spot to go wander around and look. But this place does get its reputation for being the Rattlesnake Bomber Base, as when they were building it, they discovered many rattlesnake nests in and around the entire construction area. So it probably wouldn't be a very safe place to explore. But we get to look at it from Flight Simulator and we can kind of see what it looked like back in the day. I'm trying to figure out the air defense station, I believe, was right, could have been that. I was looking at some pictures of it and I believe that is where it's located. I could be wrong though. But you still have quite a bit of what was. I mean, the tarmac, the runways. I mean, it's a ghostly image of its past. I mean, that's about all you can really say there. But let's go ahead. We're going to jump out. I'm going to load up the scenery file and we'll take a look at Pyote restored in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Alright, so we've switched over to the add-on file by Jason Lee, Jason L-I-I. And this is what Pyote looks like now inside Flight Simulator. You have functioning runways and you have your base of operations. Now, the airplanes that are here are not going to be era correct, but it's good that they're there because it adds a little bit of ambiance to the airbase itself. So let's just go ahead, go on in, take a look. And where we had hardly any structures, we now have base structures. It looks considerably different. I like the addition of the extra airplanes here. Additional information on this. Alright, so a little information on this. The base was actually established as a B-17 Flying Fortress crew training center. And two squadrons of importance were trained here. They are the 381st Bombardment Group and the 96th Bombardment Group. Now, ultimately, this base switched over to B-29s. I believe that was in 1944. And they started training the crews to fly B-29s. And squadrons of note here were the 301st and the 454th. After the war, the base housed and stored a lot of different aircraft. At one time, there were over 2,042 different aircraft parked here at this base after the end of World War II. You saw B-29s, B-17s, B-25s to P-51s. Just about everything was brought here. And probably ultimately became surplus or was scrapped. And I do know that the Enola Gay, and I think I'd said that earlier, but the Enola Gay was stored here. And it was stored here until 1953, and then it was taken to the Smithsonian. And it actually flew out of here. And that was its last flight. So there's a lot to see. This is a really well done base. And a lot of history. So it's really cool to see it. As I said earlier, the base ceased operations in 1954, and then they did use it until 1966. And when they ceased operations in 1954, they reopened it in 1958, and they built an air defense station here. And then it was ultimately closed in 1963. How long the surplus or the aircraft from World War II were stored here, I have no idea. But you think about the history of this airfield, and you think about the air crews, the B-17 bomber crews and the B-29 bomber crews that trained here, and this was their home until they went to war. And it's just a really cool piece of history. So we're going to jump in the DC-3 and we are going to go for a short little flight. We'll come back in and land on the runway. And we'll call it good. Alright, so here we are sitting on the end of the runway in the DC-3. I downloaded this cool livery from flightsim.to, and I thought, hey, this would be a good one to fly a little tribute flight over Pyote Air Force Base. So let's just get on board, shall we? Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this short little video. Check out this guy's file. It's worth the download time. It adds quite a bit to this area, so you want to look at a little bit of history. Fly where some of the greats have flown before. This is it. So, thanks again for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful New Year. Need to slow down, don't I? Alright, well, this is going to close out this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks again for watching. Oh yeah, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.